Hello and welcome. This is the Abbreviated West Virginia University Football Podcast at earsports.com. I am Mike Casaza here to get you ready for another Mountaineer football game, but also just to issue my condolences. Confusing times with the roster, eligibility, and now painful times with a disappointing loss and some notable injuries to top offensive players. And it's still September, and it kind of brings me back to this point that I brought up before, and I apologize for doing it again, but this will be West Virginia's 13th September home game since the start of the 2019 season. 11-1 in those 12 home games. So pretty good, right? You think that West Virginia has had great seasons. You know better because this is one more game where West Virginia is at home in the first month of the season and doesn't have a winning record. West Virginia has played one September home game in the past 7 seasons now with a winning record. Think about that. You spend so much time in the summer learning about the team, anticipating the start of a new season, and then sometimes the air is out of the balloon before the party even starts. Don't want to say the fun's over before it gets going, but certainly things change sometimes in a hurry. And you think about the schedule and you just get a fastball down the middle sometimes. What can pick you up when you're down? What's someone that gets your attention when there's so many distractions? And boy, if it isn't a rival. So what do you need? What do you need at a time like this? You need a podcast about the Mountaineers, 3 topics on the tip of our tongue. One starts with a W, one starts with a V, one starts with a U as we get you ready for another game, 3:30 p.m. Saturday at Milan Puskar Stadium. Game on ESPN. The W today stands for who? As in who's healthy, who's hurt, who's starting, who's no longer starting. A lot of questions like that so early in the season, and especially at such an important juncture on the schedule. Probably an uncomfortable amount of questions like that. You know, Jaheim White, Jaden Bray out for the season with injuries, so who will start? Who will be involved at running back? Will it be a committee? Will it be a hot hand? Could someone who's third or fourth in line end up first or second at the end of the day Saturday? We'll have to see. What about receiver Jaden Bray? Another broken foot, same foot, in fact, last year that cost him the season. Was off to a nice start this year, and again, derailed again. Someone has to pick up the slack. Who is that going to be? How else can West Virginia supplement that productivity in the passing game? What about linebacker? Reed Carrico, Chase Wilson, both left the loss to Ohio with injuries. Limited this week, might play, might not play. Not yet ruled out, not yet cleared. We'll see. We'll know more. And how about the secondary? Been okay so far, but had a new starter last week and hasn't played so well. Hasn't protected every pass, hasn't handled every assignment that you wouldn't think anything or anybody's off limits. And then, of course, the offensive line. Can you continue to go with those 5 starters? Do you mix in subs? Has a second or third teamer made a push in practice to get on the field or perhaps leapfrog someone and start? We'll find out. Probably didn't want to hear this though. Who is going to start a quarterback? Rich Rodriguez at his news conference Tuesday would not say it would be Nico Marchio, not because Marchio is no longer the starter, but also not because Marchio has played so well that is beyond reproach right now. He's had a lead over Jalen Henderson, Max Brown, Scotty Fox, all the players in that room, but maybe he's come back to the pack a little bit, even if no one has caught up to him. This week, important for him, important for everybody else to make sure that a job you earn is a job that you've actually procured in practice and then put forth a product in the field that answers any questions we may have about it right now. The V stands for Vindication, which might actually not be obtainable. Rich Rodriguez says that the last time he was the West Virginia coach against Pitt, I'm trying to remember what happened that game, but don't recall. He seems to remember, though. He called it the worst moment of his professional career. He also said it's in the past, a lifetime ago. This doesn't really have the meaning attached to it almost 18 years later than it would have 2 or 3 years after the 13-9 game on December 1st, 2007. What do you know? I do remember what happened in that game. Funny how it comes back to you. It's not coming back to the West Virginia head coach, though, but it's also not going away. Whatever happens Saturday at Mountaineer Field does not cover up, remove, change what happened at Mountaineer Field at the end of the 2007 season. Beating Pitt to go to 2-1 does not get the team across the finish line in 2007 with a spot in the national championship game. We all know that. But it is interesting to hear him answer the question and process the information because you know this does have some sort of meaning to him beyond the third game of the season, his first game back in the brawl against the Panthers. But he also knows there's nothing he can do to change the past. He does say that he does think about it. It is a sore subject. It'll never go away. That's probably not going to change on Saturday. And the U today stands for uncertain because that is how you would describe the future of this series. One that should be played more often than it has been since the conference has split apart so many years ago, sent Pitt into the ACC, sent West Virginia into the Big 12, sent the Big East into basketball only existence. They've done a good job playing together, trying to schedule some things for the future. But after this, there's a 3 year gap and then a 4 year resumption. But beyond that, there seems to be a push to get this on the books beginning in 2033. That's a long time from now, right? How many things can change? Well, that's really interesting because Rodriguez said something at his news conference that we have said and shared and thought and speculated about before. And what he said was when it comes to scheduling in the future, who knows how these conferences are going to be aligned? Hmm. I mean, he doesn't. I don't. You don't. Hardly anybody does. But there's always the people in the back room who are up to no good. The people who, I don't know, say maybe we should steal Oklahoma and Texas from the Big 12 without the Big 12 noticing. These conversations always happen. I think we're naive to think there isn't some sort of backroom conversation going on about what happens when all these television contracts expire in close proximity to one another in a handful of years from now, too. It doesn't seem like it's that far away when you think about how quickly 29, 2030, 2031, 2032 come. In fact, that's before the next blank spot in the Pitt West Virginia series. That starts in 2033. So maybe these guys can get one of the books right now. We do know they've tried and they've talked about it. They've circled each other and kind of taken some shots at one another in public. They've also had conversations in private to try to make it work, but who knows how things will go. And who are we to say that? I don't know. Maybe these conferences all fall apart again. And when they're put back together, the Mountaineers and the Panthers are in the same conference. Maybe geography makes sense and traditions prevail once again. We won't know until it happens, and we'll be paying attention. But that's not what's on the top of our minds right now. Instead, that is Pitt, West Virginia. Rich Rodriguez back in charge of his alma mater against the team that took from him something maybe he can never get back. More important for him to be 2-1 when he goes to bed on Saturday night.